The years between 1764 and 1767, a mysterious beast terrorized the rural province of Gevaudan, France, reportedly claiming hundreds of victims without prejudice. The mysterious and gruesome killings became the most fatal series of wolf attacks in the history of the country. While many French and modern scholars speculate that it may have been a wolf, there is evidence that it may not be a wolf at all. Something bigger and perhaps more terrifying. Join us as we bite through the Beast of Gévaudan on Crazy Cryptids. While there are many types of beasts that wreaked havoc in different parts of the world, the Beast of Gévaudan was France's flagship monster. Eyewitnesses described it as something that resembled a wolf, yet not a wolf. Descriptions of the beast by those who survived say that it was the size of a horse. And the numbers are astounding. In 3 years, from 1764 to 1767, this beast was responsible for 240 documented attacks. Of these, 112 people died, 53 were seriously wounded, and 75 survived. It was the 60s, the 1760s, 1764 to be exact. The region of Gevaudan, now modern-day Lozère, was under the rule of King Louis XV when the beast began its reign of terror. The attacks begun on June of 1764 and spread everywhere in the 900 square mile corner in the deep heart of France. By the end of the year, 18 men, women, and children were found dead. The brutal nature of the attacks was shocking to say the least. Several reports indicated that the head and neck of the victims were often the most damaged parts of the body, suggesting that the beast was purposely targeting those parts with an unsettling intelligence and bloodlust. People began to wonder if the beast hunted for pleasure rather than hunger. Some superstitious common folk believed it was a werewolf that preyed upon them. Those who were less supernaturally inclined believed the creature to be an oversized wolf, or instead, the work of a wolf pack. 1765. The new year brought 26 new reported attacks. Men mostly survived their encounters with the beast, but the 11 who died were almost entirely under the age of 16. Bounties of 1,000 livres were offered, and local hunting groups were organized to track down the monster. The villagers armed themselves with muskets and makeshift weapons as they went through their daily routines. The spring of that year did not fare any better as the vicious attacks continued. In March, a young mother near St. Alban confronted the great wolf-like animal as it repeatedly lunged at her 3 children and managed to save 2 of the 3 before the beast carried away the 3rd. On April 18th, a 13-year-old cattle herder was found in the field with his body mutilated. By the end of May, 44 people were dead. King Louis XV's reputation was in bad shape due to the disastrous results of the 7 Years' War, heavily taxing the provinces and being a womanizer. Scholars say he saw the beast as an opportunity to gain brownie points for his people, so he deployed his royal army to help rid of the beast. A series of unsuccessful hunting expeditions took place, until late September 1765, the king's own gun-bearer, Francois Antoine, and his patrol shot and killed an unusually large wolf. The monarchy officially declared victory, and the wolf's body was carried off to be displayed at the court of Versailles in celebration, and peace was had forevermore.
But wait! There's more!
6 weeks later, 8 witnesses encountered the beast, and 2 young girls were killed as the year drew to a close. The bloody year tallied 55 dead, 28 wounded, and 56 survivors. However, King Louis XV considered the case closed, but in 1766, The beast claimed 18 people and 21 more in 1767. The level of hysteria reached a fever pitch as the church started claiming that this was an evil curse from God to punish sinners. A ray of hope shone on Gevaudan on June 17, 1767, when Jean Chastel, a man with a reputation of integrity and religious duty, took up his gun and went out with a hunting party. He eventually encountered the beast and shot it with his musket as it approached him. After an autopsy, they found remains of a young girl in its belly that was reported to have been missing 2 days ago. The party concluded that this was definitely the Beast of Gévaudan. However, the king persisted that the large wolf that was displayed in the court was the real Beast of Gévaudan and dismissed Chastel's offering. Despite it all, after Chastel shot his wolf, the killings of villagers in the region of France stopped and never resumed. So what was the Beast of Gévaudan? Was the animal that Chastel shot the actual creature responsible for all those brutal deaths? As embellished stories were told around the fireplaces of France for centuries, here are some popular theories set in logical order. Number 1. A big wolf or a pack of wolves that preferred to mangle humans. Number 2. A type of unrecorded hybrid predator. It is said that aristocrats experimented with crossbreeding animals that they encountered in their expeditions. Number 3. A misplaced prehistoric creature such as the Androsarchus or a direwolf. Number 4. It was a serial killer who disguised himself as a wolf, a man in wolf's clothing, so to speak. And number 5. Maybe it was the turkey all along. For a cryptid with a confirmed body count, I am a little surprised this doesn't get enough press here in the States. Personally, I learned of the Beast of Gévaudan from the wonderful film Brotherhood of the Wolf, a movie that crossbred crouching tiger martial arts, cults, sexy Iroquois, Monica Bellucci, Soul Calibur, and the French Revolution. You'd think a movie of this type would go off the rails with the story, but it's surprising how it stuck with the recorded accounts of that time. But I digress. Apex predators tend to not bother humans because they probably find them boring, but there have been plenty that do take the time and mangle Homo sapiens. The lions in Ghost in the Darkness, that bear in Grizzly Man, Jaws. Jaws was real, right? If you look at the grand scheme of things in hindsight, wolf attacks were quite common at the time, and the citizens of Gevaudan were prone to superstition and exaggerations. African predators prowling around the forests of France is probably not a feasible explanation for what attacked them. If you want to be cynical, journalists were probably looking for something more interesting to fill their newspapers besides the French's losing efforts in the 7 Years' War. Anyway, if you want to know what I think the Beast of Gévaudan is, I subscribe to the idea that they were two unnaturally sized wolves that developed the taste for human flesh. There was a dip in the attacks when the king's men killed one wolf. I then believe the other one restructured their plan of attack, worked out, got buff, and went out to continue the work of the other one. Then Chastel said, "F that," kissed his rosary, and blasted its head clean off its shoulders. Good riddance.